So here's the deal. For those tuning in, last night on the High Council, much talk was had of the J. Scott Campbell situation, which if you're not familiar with the shortest way. Somebody decided to paint over a J. Scott Campbell cover, and
a decade-old cover. So this cover of Mary Jane, MJ, has been up in fucking arms from like the feminazis, the land whales, and the male feminists for years because they say it's unrealistic.
So this was, this is being discussed on the High Council because, of course, everyone's talking about Anna's awesome take on it. Everyone's talking about J. Scott Campbell's awesome response, et cetera, and for some reason, out of absolutely fucking nowhere, Tom decides to draw a false equivalency between this fuck's decision to paint over somebody's very, very well-received 10-year-old cover and Anna's decisions to demonstrate to the public how you don't have to make women fat fucking slobs in order to demonstrate different shaped bodies.
For you.
The big difference is, too, with this story, Tom, is that the artist himself not only responds perfectly, he gets then. Here's the thing: like his initial response, if that was the end of the story, it's the most beautiful poetic response. The artist himself goes back and redraws it a final time. Humorous, perfect, done. The crazies online took it to the next level.
Oh, they fucking went ape shit.
That is when it gets ugly. Like, if that's the end of the story, person calls out artist says, hey, you're not as good as me in so many different ways, and then draws it again in their newer, more refined style to just stick it to them. To me, that's ultimate comeuppance. But then it got ugly. Like,
well, they tried to cancel him at that point.
Out of nowhere. Out of absolutely fucking nowhere.
So here's the here's a question I have. So are you trying to say that like when an artist like Anna redraws somebody's artwork, that it's basically like when the SJWs get upset and they put too many clothes on something and they redraw it because she's an actual professional artist and not like a little Tumblr?
I don't think that makes any difference here, is my point.
I think it does. If a professional artist goes and redraws something, then it's not just being hypocritical. Because
I guess it depends on the intent behind it, right? I mean,
if she's the intent.
Because one thing is, if she's taking professional artwork and making it better just to make a point of how shitty it is, that's different. I think that's completely different.
But again, we also have to look at it as
no. She's a professional, Tom. Like, she's a professional, so she gets the right to draw and criticize. If it's some little random Yahoo asshole Twitterati woke tard motherfucker, then they can get stuffed and then they can cry and complain.
But so to hear that on the High Council out of nowhere, it did kind of hurt because I'm like, well, this just proves that people don't watch my videos or my live streams because everyone that does knows why I do it. And the one that was correct was, the Snowflake and Safe Space one. Well, guess what? That comic got canceled. You know who was part of that comic, not coming out? Because I embarrassed their artists because he can't draw anatomy. I did 3 live streams on it where I drew and I fixed the anatomy on it, showing that he does not know how to draw a skeleton. And then, I did make some things that I think were designs that would work better for the characters that they were achieving, and I embarrassed them.
You know that scene in Mean Girls when the principal says, raise your hand if you've ever, or Tina Fey says, raise your hand if you've ever felt personally victimized by Regina George, and the entire fucking gym raises their hand, including the principal. Yeah. So this is one of those, like,